My boyfriend took my best friend to Italy on the trip I planned, but Tokyo wanted me more. My boyfriend Jaden looked at me and said, I need space to figure things out. Exactly 1 week before our Italy trip, the one my parents paid $12,000 for as my graduation gift. I'd spent months planning every detail, but here's what made me depressed. I turned down a full-ride scholarship to Tokyo's top design program for this trip, for him, because he swore long distance would destroy us. My mom had called me an idiot for choosing love over my future, and maybe she was right because that's when my phone buzzed with something that made me even more depressed. There was Jaden at the airport gate with my high school best friend Jessica, except she was wearing the exact outfit I'd shown her for day 1 in Rome, down to the vintage Versace scarf I'd bought myself at that estate sale. But wait, it got worse. The caption read, finally going after what I deserve, tagged at gate 47, our gate, at the exact boarding time on my ticket. My roommate grabbed my phone because I started hyperventilating, but then she gasped and showed me Jessica's story from an hour earlier, a photo of her passport next to a ticket with today's date, the same flight, the same seats I'd selected. How? I FaceTimed them immediately, which probably wasn't a good idea, but I did it anyway. Jaden answered from seat 11A, the window seat I'd picked because Travelblog said it had the best landing views, and you know it's safest, while Jessica was literally reading my Kindle next to him. Look, you're too good for me anyway, he said, which sounded rehearsed, like they'd practiced this exact conversation. Besides, Jessica butted in, you always talked about Tokyo, now you can go. That's when the pieces clicked and I threw my phone into the wall. She'd been in my room last week, helping me pack, had access to everything, my Pinterest boards, my reservation confirmations. 2 hours later, I got an automated email from the airline about my canceled ticket credit, which felt like salt in a wound until I remembered something crucial. The Tokyo program director had emailed me last week, begging me to reconsider because another student had dropped out last minute. They needed someone immediately, or they'd lose funding for the position. I rage emailed at 3 a.m., probably sounding psychotic, but the professor actually replied within an hour because it was already afternoon in Tokyo. Can you be here in 3 days? The scholarship is still yours. My parents thought I'd completely lost it, but my dad booked me a red eye with points, saying, show that piece of trash what he gave up. Tokyo felt like landing on another planet where I didn't speak the language and couldn't even order coffee correctly. The scholarship covered tuition and housing, but I only had $40 for food until my work study kicked in, which meant convenience store rice balls for every meal. But then things started becoming very interesting for me. Hiroto from my design cohort, this photographer who wore all black and never smiled, started leaving extra bentos on my desk, pretending he'd ordered too much. He didn't speak much English, I didn't speak Japanese, but somehow we'd sit on the roof eating in comfortable silence while the city screamed by below us. Meanwhile, Jessica's Instagram became my toxic obsession. She was posting at every restaurant I'd bookmarked, but here's the thing. There was something wrong in the photos. Jaden looked hollow, disconnected, like he was somewhere else entirely. In one, you could see their reflection arguing in a store window. Things got even more interesting when one day, the professor pulled me aside after I'd submitted my third project running on 2 hours sleep and convenience store coffee. I thought I was failing, but instead she said my work was being presented to Sony's design team, that they wanted to meet me about a junior position that never goes to international students. The same week, Hiroto's street photography series featuring me navigating Tokyo went viral on Asian design blogs as Foreign Girl Local Soul. Suddenly I wasn't broke anymore. Brands started reaching out for collaboration. My $40 food budget turned into dinners at places I couldn't pronounce. But here's what nobody knew. Jaden had been texting me from a burner 2 weeks into their trip, increasingly desperate messages I never answered. The truth finally came out through Jessica's roommate, who sent me screenshots of the disaster. Jaden had gambling debts I never knew about, $9,000 from online poker. Jessica's trust fund had hit, and she'd offered to pay them off if he'd take her to Italy instead of me. She'd been obsessed with him since high school, and saw her chance when he got desperate. He figured he'd string her along for 2 weeks, get his debts cleared, then dump her when they got back. But when she found his burner phone with the desperate text to me, she abandoned him in Florence with no money, no return ticket, and had to call his parents to wire him funds to get home. Hiroto and I are planning our own Italy trip for next year, business class.